Sick Man Fraud here on the nature of sleep. So, we all know it's important to get our sleep. And when you become sleepy, what do? You go to sleep. So, when you go to sleep, what happens? Well, we don't know because you're sleeping. So, if you're sleeping, what does that mean? That means you're not awake. Okay, when you're awake, what does that mean? It means you're not sleeping. So, if you're awake, but if you're sleepy while you're awake, what happens then? Well, you can choose to go to sleep or stay awake. Those are the options. If you become too sleepy and you can't stay awake, what happens? You fall asleep. So when you fall asleep, does it hurt because you fell? Well, if you fall asleep or you fell asleep, depends on the state of, well, sleepiness. If you fell asleep, well, that means you were sleeping in the past. If you fall asleep, it means you're presently sleeping. Why? Because you're falling asleep. So you're presently sleeping. If you fell asleep, well, that means you fell asleep in the past. And you fell sleeping. So, we have past sleep, present sleep. What about future sleep? What would that look like? Well, probably wouldn't know because you're sleeping. So wake up. Get up and wake up. And stay up. Okay, so now you're up. You're awake. But pretty soon you'll be sleepy. And you'll be looking forward to sleep. Presently. So, maybe when you go to sleep, while you're sleeping, you can be thinking about how to get future sleep. What if you find that you have slept too much? Well, that means you're full of sleep. You're sleepful. What about if you're sleep deprived? Well, if you're deprived of sleep, that means you should get some sleep. It's important to be getting sleep and not be deprived of sleep. So, what if you are too awake? How do you get, awake? Well, you could become a Jehovah's Witness and get an Awake magazine. There's lots of articles on how to stay awake and not fall asleep. But you might fall asleep reading Awake. So that's a conundrum there. You can actually fall asleep reading literature on how to stay awake by reading Awake magazine. So no matter how you look at it, you're either asleep or awake. Or maybe you're awake in your sleep. How do you know if you're awake in your sleep? That is a mystery. You could be awake in your sleep and not be fully awake. So if you're fully awake, that means you're not sleeping. What if you say, well, let me sleep on it? So when you say, well, let me sleep on it, what are you sleeping on? Well, you're sleeping on probably a bed or a sofa or a floor or a pillow or a mattress. But once you've slept on it, well, then you can get awake. You can wake up. Why? Because you slept on it. So let me sleep on that. And I'll get back to you more in the nature of sleep once I've slept on it. Still awake?